Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into something that, well, looks like it could be a really major shift in international trade talks. We're focusing specifically on what's going on between South Korea and the United States.
That's right. It's a fascinating situation unfolding.
And the core idea here, it's pretty radical, honestly. The notion that huge, large-scale investment could be offered up basically as a condition, to get tariffs lowered.
Yeah, it really changes the game, doesn't it? It's not just about negotiating percentages anymore.
Exactly. It's like wielding economic influence in a much more direct way. Now, our main source for getting into this today is a very recent Bloomberg News report. Came out just yesterday, July 24th, 2025.
And it's citing anonymous sources, people apparently close to the negotiations.
Right. So our mission really is to unpack what this potential deal looks like, figure out what it really means, and see how it stacks up against other recent deals, like that one with Japan, which feels, well, very relevant here.
Definitely relevant.
And the sums of money we're talking about, they're huge. It feels like a direct lever being pulled, with immediate impacts on big industries, like autos. So let's get into it.
Okay, so what's really grabbing headlines is that South Korea is reportedly considering a massive investment in the U.S. Truly massive. Bloomberg sources say the two countries are talking about maybe setting up a joint fund for investing in projects inside the U.S.
A joint fund.
Oh, yeah, and this isn't just, a small token amount. The U.S. side is apparently pushing for hundreds of billions in these kinds of investment promises from different countries.
Well,
It's definitely a move away from the sort of traditional trade agreements we're used to. Shifts the leverage quite a bit.
hundreds of billions. I mean, that's just incredible as a condition for getting into a market.
Yeah.
Do we have any more specifics on that number? Or who's floating it?
Well, one source mentioned U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, he proposed something like $400 billion in investment from South Korea during the talks.
$400 billion.
Yeah. And it looks like it's part of this wider Trump administration strategy trying to lock in these big investment commitments. The goal, according to the report, is tariff relief, potentially bringing tariffs down from, say, 25% to 15%.
Go 25 down to 15.
And the focus seems to be particularly on the automotive sector, which is, a huge deal for South Korea's economy.
Right, always a sensitive point.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the tariffs themselves, it's about where things get made, the whole supply chain.
Exactly, reshaping manufacturing footprints.
And the report suggests, alongside the investment, maybe South Korea would also buy more U.S. stuff in certain areas.
That's part of the discussion, too, apparently, expanding purchases.
This whole investment for access thing, it really rings a bell. Haven't we seen this playbooks very recently?
Oh, absolutely. It's remarkably similar, almost a carbon copy in some ways, to the deal the administration just finalized with Japan.
Right, the Japan deal, I remember that.
In that agreement, Japan committed $550 billion for investment in the U.S.
$550 billion, okay.
And that was in exchange for those same tariff reductions, 25% down to 15%. Plus, Japan also agreed to buy more U.S. farm goods.
So the Japan deal is almost a direct template. That $550 billion number, was that the starting point or did it change during their negotiations?
Interesting point. Apparently for Japan, Secretary Lutnick first put $400 billion on the table with President Trump.
Ah, the same number being floated for Korea now.
Exactly. But then President Trump reportedly increased it to $550 billion.
Oh, wow, okay. So it shows how ambitious these asks are and maybe how fluid the numbers can be.
Definitely highlights the high stakes. And it really looks like a consistent pattern, right? Use tariff threats or the promise of relief to pull in massive investment from allies.
Yeah, it's less about free trade in the old sense and more like a direct swap investment for market access, trying to get production moved back or at least secured.
Precisely. A real quid pro quo.
It's a very clear strategy. And speaking of things happening right now, there was a sudden development, wasn't there?
Yes, just yesterday, Korea's Ministry of Economy and Finance announced something.
All right, they canceled those 2+2 talks. The high-level meetings between the U.S. and South Korea that were actually scheduled for today, July 25th.
Canceled. The reason given was about U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent having an urgent schedule conflict.
Okay, so talks postponed for now, right when these other details are swirling. Interesting timing. So let's just sort of recap for everyone listening. We have South Korea reportedly looking at this monumental investment in the U.S. Could be hundreds of billions. One specific figure mentioned linked to Commerce Secretary Lutnick is $400 billion.
Right.
And the prize for that would be lower tariffs,
Yeah.
maybe 15% instead of 25%, especially hitting the car industry.
A key sector.
We talked about the parallel with Japan. They committed an even bigger number, $550 billion, after an initial $400 billion ask, and got similar tariff cuts, plus agreed to buy more U.S. agriculture.
A very clear precedent.
And this all seems to fit the administration's wider approach to trade deals, demanding huge investment commitments.
Seems to be the signature move.
And the latest twist is those high-level U.S.-Korea talks scheduled for today getting called off, citing Secretary Bessent's schedule.
Yeah, all adds to the intrigue. So, stepping back and thinking about the bigger picture, this whole approach, tying investment directly to tariff cuts, it really feels like a significant change in how global trade gets negotiated.
It does.
And maybe the question for you, the listener, to think about is, what does this trend actually mean for the future? This investment for tariff relief model? How could it reshape economic alliances? How might it change where companies decide to invest, where they decide to build things in the long run? Is it moving beyond just tariffs and quotas into something, well, more geopolitical?
A really important question. Does it change the calculus for businesses globally? Something definitely to keep an eye on.